Abram and his people could not move very fast. They were encumbered by the animals. They've come south from Haran, Abram and his wife. They've done really well in this land of promise that God has promised to him. And they've done so well that they can't move very fast. There are now hundreds of people. Of course, none of them are his direct descendants. They have no children. But they have hundreds of people, and they have thousands of animals. So whenever they want to move, it's moving all these sheep and goats and donkeys.
So they just slowly crept across the land, following the pasture, following the grasses.
They'd gone down to Egypt for a while, but now they're back up in this land of promise. They're there along with Abram's nephew Lot, Lot's wife, and their two daughters. So they're really these two clans with all their people. They have a lot of herdsmen. They have just this whole Bedouin village that travels with them. The herdsmen are getting in each other's way. The pasture land isn't enough for all the animals. So Abram and Lot come together. They have a conversation. Abram says, we got to split up. I know we're family, but we've just done too well to stick together. So Lot, here's what I want you to do. You select the land you want to live in, and I'll go the other way. If you turn to the right, I'll go to the left. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. Lot looked around. He knew the land. He looked down toward that Jordan River Valley, that floodplain. He saw the green pasture land, and he said, I'll take that. Abram said, that's fine. I'll stay here in the hillside. So Abram stayed up in the hills. Lot took his wife, his two daughters, went down, and they made their encampment around the city of Sodom. Now in those days there was no massive empire. There were simply these small city-states. So like what you and I might call a mayor, well, that person was called a king, and they were just king over a city. There has been this king of the north called Chedorlaomer. Chedorlaomer for 12 years has been exacting tribute, taxes from Sodom and some of the neighboring kings. They decide they've had enough of it. They decide it's time to stand up for their rights. So they revolt. They call out the armies, they revolt. They tell Chedorlaomer, we're not paying taxes anymore. So they rallied their armies, these 5 kings around Sodom. Well, Chedorlaomer heard about it, gathered his own armies, gathered 3 other kings with him, and they just swept across the land like a blitzkrieg of soldiers, overtaking city after city. Now they come to where Sodom and his allies are. Battle lines are drawn across the valley. Soldiers lined up against Sodom. Soldiers lined up with the king of Sodom. The men clutch their weapons. Somewhere a ram's horn is sounded. The 2 armies surge into each other. There's much bashing of heads, breaking of limbs. Chedorlaomer's forces are victorious. Sodom and allies flee. Chedorlaomer comes into the city of Sodom. They loot the place. They take everything of value, including the people. As they flee, some of the men fall into tar pits because there were tar pits there in the valley. Others of them flee into the hill. One of those who escapes gets up to where Abram is camped, down near the forest of Mamre. He gets down there and he says, Abram, Sodom has been defeated, and the worst of it all is that your nephew Lot has been taken prisoner along with his family. Who knows where they're at now? The last time we saw them, they were being dragged northward. Abraham immediately springs into action. He gets his fighting men. He counts them. There are 318 fighting men. He also gets allies from Mamre and 2 of his brothers who are living near there. These kings now go in pursuit of Chedorlaomer. They surprise him by night. Abraham divides his forces into 2, and they're able to defeat Chedorlaomer. They rescue all the people of Sodom. They rescue all the loot of the battle. They rescue Lot and his family, and now they start the trek back home, back towards Sodom. As they get back near there, they come to the valley called the Valley of the Kings. They stop in the Valley of Kings, and now the king of Sodom who was not taken captive, comes out to greet this returning, victorious Abram. And here comes another guy. This guy's called the King of Salem. Yeah, Salem, as in Shalom. This king is called the King of Peace. We don't know where he comes from. He has no record of having a mother or a father. He just, out of the blue, here comes this guy, and he's the priest of God Most High. His name is Melchizedek. So the king of Sodom, Abram returning with the spoils of war and the freed ex-prisoners, and here in the middle is the King of Peace. He brings out this welcome gift to the returning army. He brings out bread and wine, which, if you pay attention, you'll see comes up much later in the story. He blessed Abram. He says, Abram, I bless you in the name of God Most High, creator of heaven, creator of the earth. And I give praise to the God Most High, creator of the heavens and the earth, because of the victory he has given to Abram. Abram receives this blessing, and then Abram went through the spoils of war. He had them bring out from all of the loot of war 1/10 of everything he had taken. And he gave that to Melchizedek, the king of Salem. And if you pay attention, that will come up later in the story too. Now the king of Sodom says, hey, thanks a lot, Abram, for what you did for bringing all these people back. And I don't expect you to give me the stuff. I'm happy, though, to receive the people of Sodom back. Thank you very much. But Abram, as your reward, you keep all the goods, all the stuff, all the riches of Sodom. Abram says, no, I don't need your stuff. I have raised my hand and taken an oath that I would not accept from you a thread of a garment, not even a shoestring, because I never want it to be said that you made Abram rich. Now, it would be right, he continued, for you to give to Mamre and to his 2 brothers what belongs to them, but nothing for me. And that's one small part of God's big story.